No one noticed him when he walked into the club, not at first. Not the bouncer, not the bartender, not the people laughing too loudly under flashing lights. He was just a cleaner, still wearing the quiet look of someone used to being invisible. But one small moment changed everything, and the silence that followed was louder than the music ever had been. This is the kind of story that sneaks up on you. The kind that reminds you how easy it is to judge, and how powerful one act of kindness or courage can be when no one expects it. Before we begin, take a second to support stories like this. Subscribe, like, and share your thoughts in the comments. You're watching Kindness Story Hub, where small moments turn into life-changing stories. The club was packed on a Friday night in downtown Chicago. Neon lights flickered across polished floors, bass thumped through the walls, and the air buzzed with excitement. It was the kind of place where people came to forget their week, their worries, and sometimes themselves. Marcus Reed stood near the back, mop in hand, quietly doing his job. At 38, Marcus had learned how to disappear in plain sight. He wore plain clothes, kept his head down, and moved carefully around people who never made eye contact. To them, he wasn't Marcus. He was just the cleaner. What they didn't know was that Marcus had already lived a lifetime of responsibility. He was a single dad to an 11-year-old daughter named Lily. She was the center of his world, the reason he woke up every morning even when his body ached and his bank account looked hopeless. After his wife passed away 5 years earlier, life had narrowed down to one goal: keep Lily safe, fed, and smiling. Cleaning jobs paid the bills. Barely. But Marcus took pride in his work. He showed up early, stayed late, and treated every job like it mattered, because to him, it did. That night, he'd finished his shift at a nearby office building and picked up a last-minute gig at the club. Extra money meant groceries, school supplies, maybe even a small birthday gift Lily had been hinting at. As Marcus wiped down a table near the bar, a group of men nearby laughed loudly. They were dressed sharp, confident, clearly regulars. One of them noticed Marcus and smirked. "Hey, mop guy," the man said, holding up a shot glass. "Ever had a real drink in a place like this?" Marcus paused. He'd heard that tone before. Not outright cruel, but close enough. He gave a polite nod and went back to cleaning. The man laughed and turned to his friends. "Bet he's never even tasted the good stuff." Another guy chimed in. "Come on, man. Let him live a little." The bartender watched from behind the counter, unsure whether to step in. Marcus felt heat rise in his chest. Not anger, just embarrassment. He didn't want attention. He just wanted to finish his job and go home. But then the first man did something unexpected. He slid a fresh shot across the bar and pushed it toward Marcus. "On me," he said. "One shot." "What do you say?" The music seemed to dip, just slightly, as people nearby glanced over. A cleaner drinking on the job wasn't exactly club policy. Marcus hesitated. "I shouldn't," he said softly. "I'm working." "Oh, relax," the man replied. "Live a little." Marcus thought of Lily. He thought of long nights helping with homework, of early mornings packing lunches, of never once doing something just for himself. One shot. One small moment. He looked at the bartender, who gave a subtle shrug. Then Marcus picked up the glass. The laughter quieted. People watched, curious now. The cleaner was no longer invisible. Marcus lifted the shot, closed his eyes for a second, and took it. He didn't cough. He didn't grimace. He didn't make a face. Instead, he exhaled slowly and said, calmly, "That's a 12-year aged single malt. Highland. Good balance, but the finish is a bit rushed." The club went completely silent. The men at the bar stared at him. The bartender froze mid-wipe. Someone near the dance floor actually stopped moving. The first man blinked. "What did you just say?" Marcus realized what he'd done and felt his face warm. "Sorry," he said quickly. "Habit." "What habit?" the bartender asked. Marcus hesitated, then sighed. "There was no point hiding anymore. Before my wife got sick," he said, "I worked at a small distillery in Kentucky. Quality control. Tasting, testing, learning how every batch was supposed to feel. I loved that job." The laughter was gone now. Replaced by curiosity. "What happened?" someone asked. "My wife got cancer," Marcus said simply. "We needed insurance." Steady hours. So I took whatever work I could. Cleaning, maintenance, night shifts. Anything that paid. The first man looked down at his glass, suddenly uncomfortable. I didn't know. Marcus smiled gently. You couldn't have. Most people don't ask. The bartender slid Marcus a glass of water. That's impressive, he said. Most people who drink that stuff couldn't describe it like that. Marcus shrugged. It's just memory. One of the men cleared his throat. You ever think about going back to it? Marcus shook his head. Dreams change. Priorities too. I've got a kid depending on me. The club slowly came back to life, but the mood had shifted. Conversations were quieter. Ice followed Marcus with a new kind of respect. A few minutes later, the bartender called him over. Hey, he said. You're off the clock, right? In 10 minutes, Marcus replied. The bartender nodded. When you're done, there's a seat here for you. No charge. Marcus hesitated, then smiled. Thank you. When his shift ended, Marcus sat at the bar, not as a cleaner, but as a guest. The same men who'd laughed earlier struck up a real conversation this time. They asked about Lily. About Kentucky. About life before Marcus left. The first man slipped him a card. My brother owns a small spirits company, he said. They're looking for someone who actually knows what they're doing. No promises. But, call him. Marcus stared at the card, heart pounding. Thank you, he said. Really? That night, Marcus went home and tucked Lily into bed. She asked how work was. It was surprising, he said, smiling. A few weeks later, Marcus started a new job. Better hours. Better pay. Still humble work, but closer to the life he once dreamed of, and the future Lily deserved, all because someone offered a shot, and because Marcus had the courage to be himself in a room where no one expected it. Kindness doesn't always look like grand gestures. Sometimes it's a moment of respect. A second chance. Or simply seeing the person in front of you. You never know who someone really is, or what they've survived, until you listen. So the next time you're tempted to look past someone, pause. Offer kindness instead. It might change their life. And yours, because one small moment can make a whole room fall silent and a heart feel seen.